seconds. I don't know what the hell.
I don't know. I haven't heard it mute.
Oh, okay. Well, if suddenly I cut out mid-sentence, it's because my microphone decided you didn't need to hear me anymore. And I mean, I can't argue with its logic.
It's definitely going in and out. I can hear it now.
Okay.
You'll get louder than quiet, but it's not like quiet.
Man, see, and it's because I looked at the last podcast and I was like, oh, I was a little bit loud, like my volume's a little bit loud. I should probably adjust that and make that better. And now I just made it terrible.
They're roasting you in the comments.
Of course they are. Jerks.
Yeah. Unappreciative bastards. All of them.
I work hard in the meme mines all day.
Yes. And then they call you Cat Drew.
Yeah. The hell.
I mentioned that one time.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the problem, is you can't give people nicknames in this world and expect that people aren't going to run with it.
Yes.
This thingy, I believe. Okay, is that better?
Sure.
Or is that worse? I don't know.
That's louder.
Okay, as long as it's louder, I guess. Yes. I don't know that hearing me louder is better, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. It was everybody knows that if somebody doesn't understand you, you just have to talk really loud, and then they'll be able to understand you.
Yeah, I've never gotten why that seems to go through people's heads, where it's like, oh, I don't speak the language you're speaking. Okay, let me shout it into your face. Does this help?
Slowly? Yeah, slower and louder.
Yeah, like that does not assist me in any way, shape, or form. I didn't say I couldn't hear you. I said I didn't understand you.
Yes, Jack.
The assistance of the autism. It's weaponized autism. That's what it is.
Weaponized autism? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It helps us labor in the meme mines. The meme mines. No. Who runs Meme Town? Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that's not Master Blaster anymore. We're not going to get into who that is, but
no. We know who benefits from the meme mining though, because he steals every other fucking meme.
Yeah. Constantly. You know who you are.
Yes. Zuckerberg runs Meme Town? No, Zuckerberg will ban you for memes.
Yeah, fuck Zuck.
I think Reddit runs Meme Town.
Or 4chan.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome. Or I guess that's hello. Welcome. I don't know if that sounds better or not.
Welcome. Like that kind of sounds like you're trying to do the Pac-Man noise.
Oh.
Waka. Yeah. Just going after a bunch of ghosts.
Hello. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Monk Friends Roundtable Discussion. Before we get started, let me first remind you that we are covered by the BIPCOT No Government License, which allows for the use and the reuse of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That's BIPCOT.org. We're also covered by Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969, which ruled that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless that speech is, quote, directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action and is likely to incite or produce such action. Therefore, everything said here on Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable Discussion is entirely hypothetical. This is episode 228. Don't quote me on that.
Maybe.
228. Yes, 228.
Literally
Oh,
every
it
episode.
says so at the top of the screen.
Yeah, literally every episode of this show starts out with us going, "What episode number is it? I don't know."
Yeah.
You think by now we would have remembered that it's at the top of the screen. We didn't.
It's literally at the top of the screen I'm looking at. It's literally at the top of the screen I'm looking at. It's on the YouTube that they're looking at also where the chat's going.
Yeah. So you guys know what it is. You don't need us to tell you.
So why didn't one of you chime in and let me know which episode it was instead of letting me there going and embarrassing myself?
You had one job. One job.
Fucking chat. I should block you all. No. Yeah, how'd that car show go?
Actually went really, really well despite the rain. It didn't have the turnout. I guess like last year they had like 200 cars show up, and this year there was 63 because of the rain. So it definitely affected things. As you would expect.
Bunch of trailer queens didn't show up, huh?
Yeah, basically. All of the real hardcore guys actually still showed up. There were some cars there that hilariously were like actually really rare, but they're just in garbage shape.
Oh.
And they drove them anyway. And the one guy was laughing about he has a Challenger, and I have never seen a 70s Challenger in that yellow before. And he told me that as far as he knows, there are only 3 of that year in that shade of yellow, and one of them that he saw was like at Meacham, and it also had a brown interior, which is also ridiculously rare for that car. So, and I was like, yeah, because it's gross. Because no one ordered it. Everyone was too smart to order that. But one moron in like 71 ordered a like pale yellow Challenger with the RT graphics package and a chocolate brown interior.
That person has kids that he doesn't know about.
Yeah, it's it's quite the sight to behold. The one though that was there was pretty cool. It didn't have a brown interior, thankfully, but he was just like, yeah, he's like, this is so rare that apparently like he actually had like some like Mopar Collectors Club argue with him that it wasn't possible that was the paint code in his VIN.
Yeah, no,
because they didn't have any record.
That's gross.
And he's no, that's special order color.
The mellow yellow with the brown interior is just it's wrong. Is it the mustard yellow or the mellow yellow?
It's what is that shade of yellow? Because it's not the Curious Yellow. The Curious Yellow was the standard one. That's the much brighter one.
Yeah.
It's the much paler yellow, and I don't remember what that's actually called, but I think it's like not that year's color or something. Like it was either a previous model year or the 72s got it, something like that. So like you can find them another year, you can find a few, but that year it was just because it was like a holdover or it was an early run, and so it's a super rare car.
I'm just thinking shag carpet, hot tub in the bedroom, carpet on the wall.
That dude had a waterbed all the way. That guy had a waterbed and like a lava lamp and
the water bed with the vibration machine hooked up to it.
The magic fingers.
The magic fingers hooked up to his waterbed. Yeah.
I definitely used that as a pickup line and it worked once.
That you have magic fingers?
Yeah. I said, come on, I'm like a bed in a cheap motel, baby. I got magic fingers. It worked.
Yep, I'm moist. It worked. Yep.
But yeah, there was a Daytona that showed up, an original real Daytona.
Not a
clone.
Is that the one you sent me the picture of?
Yeah, that red one. Yep, that is a real
pretty.
Daytona.
That was pretty.
That is probably a between $350 and $500,000 car.
Yeah.
And he literally like rolled in to say hi to people, paid $20 towards the 50-50 raffle for the Lions Club, and then left. Like, and I was like, what? He just let, and the one guy that had, because sitting next to me was a 72 Grand Prix. And beautiful blue, 53,000 original miles.
That's it?
Yep, 53,000 original miles on it. Blue, it's a blue on blue with a white vinyl top on it, white vinyl hard top. Super amazing car. It's not technically considered a survivor because it was reshot once in the mid 90s and got like a refresh, but otherwise it's all original. He said the only thing he's ever even done to it other than regular maintenance is he had to redo the springs because the leaf springs, over the years, that big heavy car, they had just kind of
sag.
Yeah. He said it was like a 3-inch ride height difference.
just going back to factory springs.
Well, yeah, going to brand new springs from the original springs that had worn out over 60 years. But yeah, so he was right next to me, and he goes, "Oh yeah, he does that every year. He just like shows up. Everybody drools over the Daytona. He donates $20 to the Lions Club, and then he disappears again."
he's like the Great Pumpkin of car shows.
Yeah, he just shows up once a year with this freaking insanely valuable car, and then just leaves again. Just bye. It was crazy.
Car claws.
Yeah, there was a few really, really rare cars. There's a like a 32 Ford like semi that was back before they started truly making like full on hauling trucks.
But the delivery truck?
Yeah, it had a second axle in the rear. That's a driven axle.
Nice.
And apparently the guy who owns that, it was originally his brother's, and his brother owned it for like 20 years and then gave it to him as a birthday present. And I'm like, nobody does that for me for my birthday. The hell is that? Ha ha ha.
Says it got her in bed, but the magic fingers didn't get her to the finish line. That's because he's a winner. And winners, you're either first or you're last.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mama, I'm going fast.
Oh, they call it shake and bake, not shake and low and slow.
Yeah. So no, it was a cool
oh man,
car show though. I got a plaque for the car. I did not get a trophy. The guys on either side of me got trophies. I didn't. But I didn't expect to get a trophy anyway. Like, I did have a bunch of people ask me what the hell my car was though, even though like there's literally a sign for the show that says what the year, make, model, everything is. I'm like, yeah, so it's right there.
Well, I mean, to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Simpsons movie, I was elected to lead, not to read.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It's like, oh, these. Well, and I always get that stupid, I've talked about before, I get that stupid reaction. What is this? It's an Alfa Romeo Giulia. Well, like, I know what that is. The thing sitting in front of you right now. And I get that so often. And I'm like, and these people vote. But go on. Keep telling yourselves that somehow there's a political solution.
Apparently there is, because Nancy Pelosi says that if Donald Trump wins this next election, it will be the end of the United States of America.
Don't do that. Don't give.
Which is the greatest campaign slogan I've ever heard.
And it is. Trump 2024. I will destroy America.
The aliens come down in 2025 and like, oh fuck, they beat us.
Don't play with my heart like that.
Yeah.
Don't play with my heart like that. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna be the end of America. Do you promise? Do you swear to me?
Ugh. Andrew's rubbing nipples. Are you sure? Oh,
Would you destroy America with me? I'd destroy America with me.
yes. Paul Pelosi comes out of the background dancing, putting on lipstick.
Oh, that, and that footage, like when you watch that footage, there is absolutely no like debate about what's been going on before that door opened.
They're and both in the underwear, and yeah.
You know exactly what was happening.
Yeah, we know what was happening. With that, just like Hollywood, they're preparing the general public to not care. Yeah, I mean, I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. No.
I mean, like I'm excited.
My future's fucked already. You
got to appreciate just how screwed up everything is, that when the government's like, hey, by the way, aliens are real, everyone's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Show us the list.
Yeah. Show us Epstein. Oh, that's interesting. Show us Epstein's client list. But the aliens are, nope, Epstein's client list.
Yep. Are Epstein's, are aliens on Epstein's list?
I mean, they might be.
Possibly. Oh.
I mean, have you seen E.T.? That guy's pretty sus.
Big Mike Obama in 24 for the Dems. That was one of the things that they talked about was Michelle Obama in 24, and then she runs for 8 years, and then it's Chelsea Clinton for 8 years, and then it's like Malia Obama for 8 years, or something like that. Yeah, that was their plan for the next 24 years. Is after Biden, it would be them.
Well, the funny thing is like that's such an unrealistic plan, because by halfway through that, you would have complete and total collapse.
Yeah. I mean, there's a book series that I'm a little fond of, in which a certain section of the United States starts to revolt to try and form their own country, and Chelsea Clinton is the president at the time, and she gives in. So, I mean, if that happens, if Chelsea becomes president, I'm moving to the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, I'd like to say that like I will run away if she because that seems like a prudent thing to do, but in all honesty, like I'm hoping by the time that happens, if it happens, I already have a cabin in the mountains. So,
oh fuck, dude! My name, I have zombie bait on my my tag right now, and it's I was at dinner with my dad on breakfast with my dad on Tuesday, and walking out of the place, and I kind of did like the happy little hop off the curb, and my body said, "The fuck you do," and sprained my knee stepping off the curb. Yeah.
Yep. As soon as you're like, oh, I did that. No, never do that. We are too old for that kind of thing.
Yep.
We don't get to do those shenanigans anymore.
Nope. Yep. Speaking of that, today is Derica's birthday.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you how old she turns, but I am right about 7 months older. So there you go. So she's a youngster. Derica's birthday. Oh.
Man, it seems like it was only like a year ago that there was one too.
Yeah. No, but you want to get into some articles now? Too bad, because that's where we're going.
It's happening whether you want to or not.
Where do we want to start?
I honestly don't know. Like I was looking at these, and I gotta say the house one is definitely one that is going to make me rage, like very, very badly.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one. And of course, I have a secret article that I did not give you.
Oh,
I don't know if that won't make you rage, but that's a good one. Let's hold off on that one. Let's go to let's start in New Hampshire. We'll start in New Hampshire.
sure. Well, do I want to start in New Hampshire?
Okay,
Knowing what I know
I
about
just
New
want to say
Hampshire.
that the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire is absolutely based. I just want to put that out there. Or at least the executive committee of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, the LPNH, or the NHLP, LPNH, Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. They are absolutely based. The people that run their social media are absolutely fantastic. Um, Today, they posted a oh, why do I need 30, why do I need magazines with 30 rounds or more, and it's a picture of Congress.
Oh, based as hell, bro.
Very spicy, right? Very spicy.
Woo,
um
woo.
yes, very spicy. But like Ben Weir, he's part of that, and he's from California. He moved out there I think 2 years ago, something like that. But either way, so libertarians offer to buy police firearms in exchange for gift cards and donuts.
What? They're glazed.
Yes. Outside Manchester Police Headquarters on Saturday, 6 members or sympathizers of the New Hampshire Libertarian Party gathered to protest what they call police violence and the practice of qualified immunity for officers, with offers to buy back police firearms for a $25 gift card plus free donuts. One took still photographs. Two, with a microphone and video camera, came to film the documentary about Ben Weir, a member of the party's executive committee who organized the event to buy back police pistols, revolvers, shotguns, and rifles used in the line of duty, which the protesters say sometimes endangers the public.
Those guns are far more of a threat to
Yes.
the general public at large than any of my firearms.
Yes. Hold on. No law enforcement officers came out of the building to take up their offer. 3 passing cars did honk. The Libertarians signs read "in qualified immunity," "Save the dogs," and "Google Police 40%." The latter, which refers to an estimated percentage of officers who suffer from PTSD or mental illness. 30 is the number of New Hampshire dogs that have been killed purposely or accidentally by police officers on the job. They were offering lifetime membership in the New Hampshire Libertarian Party to any officer who surrendered his badge. There were no takers. Quote, "I believe the state and federal government has a monopoly on violence. They instigate more than they prevent. Taxpayers are paying for their guns, so taxpayers should be able to buy them back." That's a quote from Ben Weaver. Quote, "I could use some more guns. You can never have enough guns."
Amen, sir.
He also believes that an armed citizenry is a safer citizenry.
Also very true.
Yes. Tom Mannanen, a state representative from Pelham, came primarily to protest the legal doctrine of qualified immunity, which can exempt law enforcement officers from punishment for undue violence in the line of duty. Quote, "Everybody should be held to the same set of rules, especially if there's property damage or a loss of life." Kurt Hammond of Manchester wore a pistol tucked in the belt of his shorts and said, quote, "I think police should be allowed to carry guns. What police get is sovereign immunity. They can do things for which I would be imprisoned, and they get to walk away."
Yep.
Yeah. The trio came to protest what they describe as police brutality. Quote, "Just because it's not happening here doesn't mean it's not going on. Save the dogs. Abolish the ATF."
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. They believe that publicly funded police departments should be replaced by private police forces paid by voluntary contributions from the community. Howland said he carries a firearm openly wherever he goes. Said he supports shifting to peace officers.
That is what they used to get called.
Yes, a law enforcement officer is a tyrant. A peace officer responds when someone gets violent. I object to law enforcement.
Nice.
Yes, that is a good high level troll and a very, very good article in the New Hampshire Union Leader.
And it's important, to point out that this is a really eloquent set of responses, like very good measured
Yes.
set of responses when he gets interviewed and when the people there get interviewed, where they're not just dumping like hardcore rebellion.
They don't sound like Alex. They don't sound like Alex Jones.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do not, if you get interviewed, do not go full Alex Jones. Okay. Like,
Yes.
that's a very, very bad idea. No one will listen to you for a reason.
Yes.
You need to, reasoned, measured responses that logically follow, that, that even status can't be like, well, you're just a crazy radical, like where they have to admit that, like, at least you're just being intellectually consistent. That's the way to go. And so he simultaneously trolled the shit out of these cops, which is always a good thing, but delivered a message very solidly. And that might actually make more people actually start looking into libertarianism and anarchism. Like, don't look too much into libertarianism. It's a dumpster fire. But look at anarchism, by all means.
Yes. It's a very good troll. It was a very public troll. It was a very controlled troll. I think that's the part that really matters is it being controlled. If it's chaotic, right, it's going to be reported as chaotic. If you're being an asshole, it's going to be reported that you're being an asshole. Standing out there with your signs, making the offer, being calm, right? Have precise responses. Know what you want to say. Practice what you want to say, and then say it in a way that sounds intellectual, sounds professional. Right? You get a lot better response when you do it that way, as opposed to, sounding like you're fucking crazy.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, like, because there's a lot of people right now, and I understand like the desire to just be like, I want to, I'm so sick of you people not paying attention and not noticing what the world really is, and I get that, I understand where that frustration comes from, but to quote, Morpheus in the Matrix, a lot of these people are not ready to be unplugged, and they will fight to preserve the system.
Not only that, I think there's one of the things that really frustrates me is that a lot of anarchists and libertarians forget that at one point in time they were in the same position as the people that they're trying to approach, right? Trying to wake up, trying to inform.
Yep.
Right. If somebody had come to you at that point in time, when you were in the military, right? And if Alex Jones had come up to you when you're in the military, oh, they're turning the frogs gay, blah, 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 right? If just went fucking bonkers, libertarian rhetoric, you'd have been like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right? For sure.
Crazy. Section 8.
I mean, it's and I've talked before about what turned me to anarchism and the whole my foray into politics that led me to literal closed door secret meetings and things, and realizing that there was no saving the system, that you cannot work within the system. The system is functioning as designed.
Yes.
And that is not for the betterment of anyone except the ruling elite. When all that until all that happened, I was still, I still believed in political process. I still believed that if we could just get the right people in office and everything. So even at that point, the day before that happened, if you had come to me and you had been like, screaming at me like Alex Jones, and I would have just completely rejected you, not listened to you, and been like, well, you're nuts, and therefore everything that you're saying is nuts. And there occasionally were times, even after I started transitioning to being an anarchist, where that would happen, where I would encounter somebody who is the crazy screaming, they're turning the frogs gay, there's, chemtrails, and, and everyone's part of a pedo death cult and all this other, and like just screaming all this stuff at me. And I didn't listen to any of them. That delayed my
Yeah.
change to a complete anarchist
Mhm.
by a significant amount of time, because I did not want to be associated with people who are just crazily screaming at others on the internet about how, that there's like, these secret chimera experiments and all this other like, I don't care if any of that's true or not. That is not what you fucking lead with.
Yeah, I got really lucky. My introduction to anarchism was Danilo Cuellar. Danilo Cuellar, Jeremy Hingeller, Dave Parker. Just that introduction. It was a soft introduction. Like, they're all anarchists, but they're all like experienced in talking about it through podcasts and whatnot. So like I had a really soft. I didn't have that crazy the crazy anarchists coming at me at first. They came. There was a lot of them, but
Oh man, I had like, because I keep in mind, I mean, at the time, one, I was still, still trucking with organized religion. I had, obviously tons of friends in the Republican Party here in the area and everything. That's how I wound up in those closed door meetings and doing all those things and meeting the governor and everything. That's how that all happened. So like, I had all these people around me, and like, because of my associations from that stuff, the anarchists who I wound up connecting with initially were not gentle anarchists who like calmly explain things, or they just would scream, you're just a fucking statist and you don't know
baby
what you're
killer
talking about, and it's and they hated me as soon as they found out former employment and experience and everything. That is how you drive people away, and you make sure that no one will listen to you. And that's one of those things that, like, because we've talked about it before and we always get pushback when we talk about that. Well, but you gotta, but it's true, but you gotta wear, the message should be pure. Yeah, but if you just start screaming in people's faces, they're not gonna listen. It does not matter whether they should listen or not. They won't. Learn how to talk to people, because I think that a lot of anarchists are scared that people will start listening to them. And like, they don't know how to handle that. If people actually start listening and it starts changing the world, how do we, because I think that for a lot of anarchists, being anarchist is so different than most of the societal norms that you encounter. The idea of it suddenly becoming a normal thing is really scary to them, because like, they're going to lose their identity as like alternative and different. And they don't want to do that. I mean, it's the same thing as like the hipsters, right? You're basically a political hipster at that point. You just want to be into things before it's cool. And then once it's cool, you don't want to be into things anymore.
Yes. Yes. But again, that was just a really cool troll by Ben Weir and those guys at LPNH. So hat tip to those guys. That was cool.
That was a solid troll.
And that spicy as fuck Twitter post today.
Whew. You mean X post? It's X now.
X post, yes. How they don't get banned more, I have no idea, but it was fantastic.
I think because Musk kind of gets a kick out of him.
Yes. Jack. Paul Gordon. Paulie was fantastic. I missed that guy.
I haven't seen Paulie in, man. I haven't seen Paulie since I think we were on the Vanu podcast.
Yeah, since Vanu podcast. Yeah, it's been a while. But all right, let's move on to something else. Since we're talking about the police department, police segue, police, right?
Yeah, sure. It's Segui.
Yeah. Good segue, Jason. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate that. DOJ eyeing Americans like ATMs, spending over $6 billion to aid civil asset forfeitures.
Hey, Jason, who was it that pushed the civil asset forfeiture thing as part of the omnibus crime bill again?
God, what was his name?
God, his same guy who fought against the repeal of Jim Crow laws in the American South.
Yeah, he's the same guy that
Um,
that had disproportionate punishments for powder cocaine versus crack cocaine because powder cocaine was a quote white crime.
yeah, man, who? And I feel like he has a
He had a
person
couple of
politically.
kids, right? A couple of kids.
Yeah, yeah, a couple of kids that.
No, one of them died.
Yeah, although
You
he
know,
can't apparently remember when or how.
or his name.
Yeah, or his
You
name.
know,
He's got a person close to him politically who also fought to keep black inmates in prison longer than they should be because the state needs their labor.
yes.
Um,
Did so by hiding evidence. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, pretty much like the most corrupt prosecutor in a state full of corrupt prosecutors.
Yes.
Yeah, gosh, what was that name? I think that like
But
rhymed with like
she's a very good girl if you ask Governor Moonbeam. Jerry Brown. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She
Yeah. Papa Jerry. Yeah. Political sugar
I
daddy.
yeah, what was that guy's name? It is
Gavin Newsom's rumored to have slept with her also.
that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Now actually that would surprise me because let's be honest, he's not interested in women. Look at that guy.
Yeah. That hair. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the Department of Justice is shelling out more than six. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna wait for you to take that drink before I say anything.
all right. Go for it.
Okay. The Department of Justice is shelling out more than $6 billion. That's a billion with a B. $6 billion to private companies to manage its asset forfeiture investigations, raising alarm from one of the non-profit law firms that accused police of, quote, treating ordinary citizens like ATMs and seizing their cash.
That's pretty much what happens under civil asset forfeiture. They can just be like, nah, mine now.
Yes. Dan Albin, head of the Institute for Justice's National Initiative to End Forfeiture, said, quote, you've probably heard the adage, you got to spend money to make money. Here, it's you got to spend money to take money.
Spend money to take money.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just going to read this first paragraph again. All right, because there's two things in there that just that really jump out at me. The Department of Justice shelling out $6 billion. That's billion with a B, to private companies to manage its asset forfeiture investigations.
See, it sounds to me, if you are paying a private company to manage
to do police work,
to manage things, it feels less like you care about the people and more like you're treating this like a business, doesn't it?
Yes,
just a little bit.
Yes, spending $6 billion. That's billion with a B. Sending $6 billion on private companies to manage its asset forfeiture investigations. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Asset forfeiture is the process through which the government seizes money or other property that is believed to have been linked to a crime. Most federal forfeitures are civil, meaning the government can keep the seized property without ever charging the owner with a crime. The DOJ announced earlier this year that more than $6 billion, that's billion with a B, $6 billion in contracts awarded to multiple private companies to help with civil asset forfeiture investigations. Contractors are expected to help with everything from investigating and identifying assets for seizure to record keeping and providing courtroom testimony, according to the DOJ records. Quote, these are 6 billion reasons we need civil asset forfeiture reform now. Congress must act to prevent law enforcement from treating ordinary Americans like ATMs. That's according to Albin. Forfeiture generated more than 45.7 billion. That's a billion with a B. Forfeiture generated more than $45.7 billion in revenue for the federal government alone between 2000 and 2019, according to the Institute for Justice. Proceeds are often split between the federal and local police agencies.
$45.7 billion
with a B.
dollars
Yes.
taken from people who are not necessarily even ever charged.
Yes. Let alone
with
convicted.
a crime.
Let alone convicted.
Yeah.
Right. So most of these people are not convicted. Some of them are not ever even charged with a crime.
Well, remember a few years ago, we did that article on that stripper who was taking all of her money, like her life savings, to go to the bank or something and deposit it. And they took all of that money from her, seized it, and then on suspicion that it was illegally obtained, and then just that was it.
Yes.
They didn't ticket her, they didn't charge her with it, and they just took her money.
Yes. Just took it. Yes. No tickets, no charges. And then she had to spend money to get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Federal 45. Okay. Quote, federal forfeiture is big business, Albin says, and it's particularly big business for law enforcement agencies that get to spend money out of these funds. The FBI touts forfeiture as an important tool for, quote, disrupting and dismantling criminal and terrorist organizations and punishing criminals, as well as, quote, compensating victims and protecting communities. Forfeiture can also serve as a deterrent to others.
I just want to point out, compensating victims and protecting communities, as if taking things that belong to people who are never charged with a crime is magically, that money is going to help people who are victims of crimes.
Not only that, but like different states have different rules, but like some states get to keep like 50% of what they seize, right? Something like that, and then like the other 50% goes up to the federal government or some BS like that. So there's a financial incentive to take things from people that you never have to convict or charge with a crime.
I mean, how many of us, that grew up in the 90s and stuff, remember seeing photos or actually seeing like the dare cars that were like Lamborghinis or Ferraris and stuff, and said like seized from a drug dealer?
Yes.
Probably not.
Yes.
But they then turn around and use those and like go, and use these cars for like pursuit vehicles. They take all this cash and spend it on additional equipment that they can't get directly as surplus from the United States military.
1099, or 1033, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's 1033, which is also why we, again, need to buy a town somewhere out west and have a police department. Because I have a shopping list, and
yeah.
No, I'm a real police department. It says here you have a town of 11 bajillion for the population. I don't think that's a real number, sir.
It says you got 23 people in a town. Why do you need 7 Bearcats?
Wolves.
Have you ever seen a moose in heat?
Hey, we're just trying to verify. Are you the ones that are getting the 3 MRAPs? Yes. You have less than 50 people in town. Why do you need 3 MRAPs? Crowd control.
Crowd control, yes.
How big can the crowd be? Well, hey, you know what's important is it will be controlled by 3 MRAPs, won't it? So,
yes. Why do you need 7 Mark 19s?
Those, see, because we're in the mountains, those are going to be used for avalanche control.
Oh, we need a howitzer.
Yes.
We need a howitzer.
We need a 105.
Sir, the largest hill to you is only 1,700 feet tall.
I need me a 105.
Yeah. 105, just.
couple of attack helicopters.
Yeah. Why do you
It's
need
for
a
wildlife monitoring.
Why do you need a Reaper drone?
Wildlife
Shoplifters.
monitoring.
Wildlife monitoring. Yes.
Yeah, wildlife monitoring. We're gonna fly. But you also ordered Hellfire missiles. What? Well, as long as they're already on the order form, I guess we might as well just leave those.
Those must have slipped. Oops. you're sitting there at the table. We can pretend you didn't see that as you slide a $50.
Except it would be like a Monopoly 50.
It's a $50 In-N-Out gift card.
I was just gonna say it's an expired coupon for Wendy's.
There you go.
I think we can just ignore that. Sir, this is a coupon for a extra Baconator at Wendy's, and it's expired by a year.
Yeah, they'll honor it.
More where that came from.
Yeah. Two for one Baconators.
Oh, don't worry. There's more than that came from. I even have a coupon booklet from Taco Bell.
It's a foil Pikachu card.
Yeah. That's when they come to actually arrest you and you just like whip out a foil Charizard and you're like, what now?
It's a laminated reverse.
Aha! And damn, he got us. Oh.
It's a laminated reverse and it's signed by Chelsea Clinton.
See, I win. Haha. Or it's like a skip.
It's a skip, yeah.
It's just aha.
They're just like, we're here to arrest you, Andrew Goff, and you're like, skip, and they're like, Jason Booth, we're here to arrest you. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, we're here to arrest. Wait, what? No,
reverse.
Damn it.
Yeah, reverse. Draw 4.
Yeah, you just draw 4, and they're like, what? So just pick 4 random people to arrest.
Yes. Critics like S2 for Justice argue innocent Americans are often targeted by forfeiture. Fighting to get seized property back is difficult and expensive since forfeiture effectively places the burden on the proof of the property owner, not the government. And because it's a civil case, there's no right to a public defender, according to Albin. One of the IJ's clients had her nest egg seized during the FBI's raid on U.S. private vaults in 2021. The FBI seized safety deposit boxes and their contents, totaling around $86 million in cash and tens of millions more in gold, silver, jewelry, and other valuables from 58-year-old Linda Martin and her customers.
Yeah, we talked about that, and It was because there was a possibility that some of those things may have been involved in crime.
Yes. The FBI felt like they can get away with anything. Martin previously told Fox News, I just feel like it's unfair, which it is. Many other federal agencies can utilize forfeiture also, from the DEA to the Postal Inspection Service. Border Patrol officers seize more than $200,000 on average every day from the nation's ports of entry and have confiscated more than $41.3 million in fiscal year 2023 so far. And that's all without conviction or warrant, and often without charges.
Yeah, like if you watch like CSI or Law and Order or whatever, you may believe that in fact they need to go before a judge and argue why this stuff needs to be taken before they are allowed to do that. That is not the case.
Yeah, be back in just a second.
That is not the case because of Joe Biden's omnibus crime bill that allows for the civil asset forfeiture. you can have everything just taken from you simply because the cop standing there at the time thinks that there's potential that maybe possibly there's something criminal connected to it. They don't need to prove it, nothing. And at that point, once the police take it, you now have to prove that you are innocent in order to get that back. A process which can take thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars itself. So if they seize 10 grand from you, chances are it's going to cost you 10 grand to get it back anyway. So there's no point. And the judges 99% of the time won't ever order any kind of court costs be given back to you or anything. And we've even covered stories where they seize the money and then are legally allowed to keep a percentage of it, even if you prove that you're innocent. They still get to keep some of the money. Like they just stole it from you and they're allowed to keep it. It is pure robbery. If you didn't think the government were a bunch of bandits and robbers and thieves before, well, here you go. Yeah, Jack, I am not putting that on the screen. Yeah, the reality is that you have no recourse against this. Civil asset forfeiture is simply legalized piracy, plain and simple. And the road pirates behave like road pirates. Look at that. It's almost like when you allow people to use hundreds of thousands of dollars of stolen assets, there's an incentive for them to steal assets.
What?
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. Oh, fuck. My knee is twice the size it should be.
That sounds really healthy.
No, it's so much fun. It's
so
the
does
worst.
That mean we're not doing the Irish jig competition?
No, there will be no post podcast celebratory dance. I didn't grease up or anything either. It's just so.
Well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the worst part is when I'm transitioning from like sitting to standing up. Like as long as I'm in one position, the swelling comforts in the certain way, and then when I stand up, the swelling is in the way of me standing up. So it's like 10 or 15 seconds of please somebody cut my leg off. Yeah. So I wish they would civil asset forfeiture steal my fucking pain, but no.
Here, I will freely give you all of this pain. Aren't you glad? There you go.
A previous IJ report found that 78% of all forfeiture cases the DOJ processed between 2000 and 2019 were administrative, meaning agencies seized property with little or no judicial oversight.
They just took it. 78%.
78.
They just went, we want this.
78% of all forfeiture cases the DOJ processed between 2000 and 2019. 78% of all cases the DOJ processed between 2000 and 2019. That's 78% of 20 years worth of civil asset forfeiture with little or no judicial oversight.
Yeah. That's more than 3 out of 4. Yes. Only slightly, but more than 3 out of 4 of every single case for 20 years. There was basically no oversight whatsoever to what they decided to take.
Yes, and now
they just took it.
And now the DOJ just gave $6 billion, billion with a B, $6 billion to private companies to aid police and the federal government in seizing more assets from people through civil asset forfeiture.
Yeah, and consider that this is They're already taking all of that, and now they have $6 billion in funding to take more.
$6 billion worth of B. Yes.
To
$6
take
billion
more.
to to private companies to help the police and federal government seize more from people. But we're the crazy ones.
Yeah, but the anarchists, we're the extremist crazy
We're the
ones.
extremists. We are so fucking extreme. We are so fucking extreme.
Extreme, bro.
Extreme. Oh.
You remember when that was big? Everything was extreme, and it was always spelled with an X so that you would know that it was truly extreme.
Yes.
Oh. Speaking of which, they brought Gecko back. The 90s clothing brand. That's back.
Jinko is Jinko's selling again too.
Yeah, just how dank we look in 3-piece suits rolling up in M-Raps with Tommy guns, scotch, and Cuban cigars. I mean, I feel like that would be pretty badass, but Hawaiian print 3-piece suit? Nah, I'm gonna go with like a slate gray or a black and
black pinstripe with Hawaiian print on the inside.
Yeah, nice like red tie.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah,
Peaky fucking blinders.
Except it won't be a Tommy gun; it'd be an AR-18 because I'm gonna channel my heritage.
There you go.
You drive your own car in the morning, do you? Just checking. Not any particular reason.
Since we're on this subject of stealing from people, inflation forcing Americans to spend $709 more per month than 2 years ago.
Because a lot of these people have an extra $700 to be spending, right?
I don't. I am hurting. Americans are spending $709 per month or more per month on everyday goods and services than they did 2 years ago, according to Moody's Analytics. Moody's chief economist Mark Zandi made the statement Friday on Twitter as part of the analysis of the July's Consumer Pricing Index report. Despite the jarring increase in costs, Zandi said inflation is modeling at just 0.2% increase from June to July.
The platform formerly known as Twitter. I think that's what we should call it.
That's what it said on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, I think it should be the platform formerly known as Twitter. You know, you remember like when Prince did that with he went to the artist formerly known as, and then went to like the symbol thing.
Just
he was just
the onk.
Yeah, and then like they made him change it because everyone was like, "This is stupid. We're not doing this."
Yes. To be sure, the high inflation of the past 2+ years has done lots of economic damage. Due to the high inflation, the typical household spent $202 more in July than they did a year ago by the same goods and services, and they spent $709 more than they did 2 years ago. But the trend lines look good and suggest inflation is set to moderate further. Vehicle prices will decline more. So too will electricity prices, and the growth in the cost of housing will slow further. The biggest worry is the jump in oil prices, which bears close watching. God, I hate these fucking people that talk just like it makes sense. It doesn't fucking make sense. It's like if I am spending $709 more per month than I did 2 years ago, $202 more than I did a year ago per month, that's not good for me. I don't care what the numbers say.
Well, remember, these are the people. These people are always remind me of like fucking Squealer from Animal Farm.
Yes.
Right? Where he could turn black into white. Because that's what these people try to do. They try to just Soviet style fucking proclaim that things that you can see with your own eyes are real, are not in fact real, and you just don't understand them.
Yeah.
Like this is actually the the reality of where the kind of banana republic we're in now. in the United States is that they will just proclaim shit like it's totally true with a completely straight face and no side eye and just totally lie to you blatantly about a thing that you know is not true and just move on. Like, nope, I said this, so this is what's true. So, nope, the $700 extra you're spending, that's a good thing. Yay!
No, it's not a.
Do you not see the wonderful thing of Comrade Stolin's new plan, comrade? Yes, we are spending extra $700, but now the housing prices will get cheaper because we will all be so broke. Good God. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's.
The burden is disproportionately borne by low-income Americans whose already stretched paychecks are heavily affected by price fluctuations. You think? Yeah, rich people can absorb some of this. Poor people cannot. The
No.
poor people cannot. We're the ones who are stuck going, I don't know how I'm going to buy food now, or I don't know how I'm going to pay my electric bill because now I have to spend so much on food that I can't afford my electric bill. You
Yeah,
know? Well, hey,
our electric bill was $200 this past month.
yeah, mine generally runs just a little bit up over that
Yeah,
right
which
now.
is
And I have a tiny place and
yeah,
my electric bill runs that high because of that fucking air conditioner.
yeah, yeah. I'll only run ours during the day. I'm running mine right now because it's like 900 degrees in my bedroom, but other than that, I only run it during the day.
Good Lord.
But all right, let's get on to let's do an update. Let's do an update. Do you remember talking about Canyon Mansfield? He was the kid with a dog, Pocatello, Idaho. The dog ran off in the backyard. The kid followed him. The dog triggered a cyanide trap set out by the Fish and Wildlife. It was a cyanide bait trap, and that was supposed to be used to kill coyotes. Remember that story? We covered it.
Yeah, and that wasn't even the only time that we've covered one of it. Like, there's been 2 or 3 that we've covered like this.
Yeah, we got. I remember we got really, really, really angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Secretive federal agencies' days of killing pets with poison bombs may finally be ending. Patches of snow dotted. Okay, so this is a Intercept article, intercept.com. So it's flowery and it takes a while to get into it. Patches of snow dotted the ground when Canyon Mansfield stepped outside of March 6, 2017. The hill behind the 14-year-old's home in Pocatello, Idaho, was not particularly large. At summit, Mansfield would only be 300 yards from his home, and yet he treasured the visits. With its sweeping mountain views, the hill was Canyon's refuge. His 3-year-old lab, Casey, was his constant companion there. The two set off as usual that afternoon. Casey was thrashing one of his toys when Canyon spotted a sprinkler-like object protruding from the ground. He ran a finger along the device. Suddenly, he heard a pop, and an orange cloud burst forth. Canyon lunged back as the front of his body was doused in the chemicals. The burning began immediately. As Canyon grasped the snow to irrigate his eyes, he heard Casey grunting near the device. He called to him, but he didn't come. He stopped what he was doing, ran to him, dropping to his knees. Canyon watched as Casey withered in spasms. Frothing at the mouth, the dog's eyes turned glossy. The boy didn't want to leave, but he knew he needed help. He sprinted down the hill for his mother. Canyon's father, Mark Mansfield, a family doctor, was at work when the boy called for help. He raced home as fast as he could. Pulling onto the property, Mansfield rushed to Casey and positioned himself above the dog, prepared to perform mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Canyon stopped him. It was poison, Canyon said. Casey was dead, and Canyon's head was pounding like never before. Toggling between his training as a physician and his horror as a parent, Mansfield struggled to sort out his son's symptoms. from the trauma he just experienced. He told Canyon to get into the shower immediately. While his son cleaned up, Mansfield called the Bannock County Sheriff's Office. A bomb and hazmat team were dispatched. Longtime Sheriff Lauren Nielsen was at a loss, trying to answer what felt like an absurd question: who would plant a bomb in Pocatello?
I can't believe these things even fucking have an M designation. Like,
Yes.
yes,
they are.
Can you imagine the horror of that? Realizing as your dog is dying and spasming that your son was also smacked with the cloud of whatever this poison is.
Well, yeah, you don't know what the poison is yet. Yeah.
And you don't know what this is. You have no idea offhand what this is.
Jack, the links are in. I'll send it to you on Telegram, but the links are always in the description on the video that you are watching. But I will send you the link on Telegram.
Yeah, so across the American West lies an untold number of potent chemical weapons tucked away and waiting to go off. There could be one on your favorite hiking trail, or on the loop where you walk your dog, or in the woods where your kids play, packed with sodium cyanide. These spring-loaded devices blast clouds of poison gas 5 feet into the air. Once inhaled, the lethal toxins mount a multi-directional attack on your cardiovascular, pulmonary, and central nervous system. Death can come in a matter of minutes. The weapons known as M44s. They have an M designation. M44s are placed by an under-the-radar federal agency called Wildlife Services. The agency was created to protect the livestock industry's bottom line by killing off the competition, namely wild predators. The so-called cyanide bombs do kill predators, but they can also kill literally anyone else unlucky enough to stumble upon them, and they have a hair trigger. Wildlife Services, which falls under the U.S. Department of Agriculture, is well known in conservation circles. Most people, however, have never heard of them. For the uninitiated, a glimpse into the taxpayer-funded killing machine can be rather jarring.
Go ahead, read that next line.
In the past 8 years, Wildlife Services killed nearly 21 million animals as part of its mission to oversee, quote, the eradication and control of species injurious to human endeavors, particularly ranching. While agents' preferred means of killing is by air, with gunmen in helicopters and planes, M44s were used to intentionally kill more than 88,000 animals from 2014 through 2022, the period for which the agency has data available online. The total amounts to roughly 30 poisonings a day for the past decade.
Yes. These 21 million animals as part of its mission over the past 8 years. 88,000 by using poisoning.
Good God.
This is
a war crime in a war zone. If you did this on the Western Front in World War I, people would then go, that was a war crime.
Yes. It's just these M44 cyanide bombs, right? They're not AI, right? They don't have like a little camera and go, oh, well, that's a chipmunk, or hey, that's a deer. There's a coyote.
No, don't go off. That's a toddler.
Yeah. That's a coyote. Okay, boom. No, it's just, oh my goodness. So my first line of study in college was environmental science. I am a huge understander of environmental science, of ecology, of sustained yield, of predator. I'm a big fan of predator control. Both 2- and 4-legged predator control.
Mhm.
Poisoning is it's completely it's completely random. You can't control what gets poisoned and what doesn't. Right? It just so even go we'll go beyond that. So say this say the M44 does take out a coyote. Right? Say it takes out a coyote and the coyote dies. The coyote's fur is covered in this sodium cyanide. What eats dead animals?
Bald
Right?
eagles.
Bald eagles, vultures, uh, scavengers such as bears. Right? All these other animals will now come and feed on this dead, poisoned animal, and in turn get poisoned. Oh, and then what's left decomposes into the soil, and now that soil is poisoned.
Yeah, like people like myself have been advocating for not using poison to control rodents for decades,
Uh-huh.
because the poison that people use on rodents then winds up getting into the food chain and poisons owls and eagles and hawks, and that's really really bad for the environment. This is They're creating a cloud of cyanide.
Yes, a, a literal a literal cloud of sodium cyanide just poof into the air.
You know, my favorite part though, my favorite part about this is coming up.
Want to get to it?
The
Go forth.
So M44s are part of, quote, a broad strategy that also uses non-lethal methods and that is informed by ongoing wildlife biology research. Wildlife Services spokesperson Ed Curlett said in an emailed statement to The Intercept. Curlett added that 98% of the agency's poison devices are placed on private lands, and, quote, only when the private, municipal, state, or federal landowner or manager requests assistance and enters into a written cooperative agreement, which we know to be bullshit.
Yes. 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 98% on private land where they have no real authority.
Yeah,
You know?
98% on private land.
Yeah.
Well, only when they enter into a cooperative agreement. Well, the private landowner whose dog and son you just poisoned never signed anything.
According to Wildlife Services data, an additional 2,200 animals were killed unintentionally over the 2014 to 2022 period, including endangered species, domestic livestock, and pets like the Mansfield's dog.
And almost the Mansfield's son.
Yes, and almost the Mansfields won. After losing Casey, the Mansfields went on the offensive, suing Wildlife Services and traveling to Washington to spearhead legislation banning the use of M44s. The hill behind the Mansfields' home is managed by the Bureau of Land Management,
Of course it is.
an agency of the Department of the Interior. Idaho, at the time of Canyon's poisoning, had banned M44s on public land, but they remained legal on private land and on public lands throughout much of the rest of the country. So, okay, at the time in Idaho, they were banned, but they still use them. The federal government still used them on federal lands, such as the Bureau of Land Management.
Did I, I don't think the Bureau of Land Management could be more evil if they were actually a comic book supervillain.
I think they could, but they're pretty far up there already.
Like, every single time I hear about the BLM, it's another horror story. It's another horrific thing that they're doing, abusing people. It's more violations of people's rights to private property. Every single time. Wow. Like, you guys make the IRS look like possibly halfway decent human beings.
Was it the Bureau of Land Management, or no? Sorry, the federal government controls, what is it, like 54% of the land in the Western United States, or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's a huge amount.
Yeah, it's
a
just not.
huge amount.
Yes. Yeah, and Jack said, "Doesn't matter which BLM, you're 100% spot on." Oh.
Shirley thought Mark Mansfield the near death of his child would motivate lawmakers to stop government agents from planting poison bombs everywhere. He was wrong.
Yes.
Good God. The law that he attempted to introduce in 2019, Canyon's law prohibiting M44s on public land nationwide, went absolutely nowhere.
Yes. Of course not.
Said, I don't care if you're red, blue, purple. I don't care if you're rural or urban. It just seems like a no-brainer. But somehow this still goes on. I'm shocked. I thought it would be a done deal within months. Call me naive. Yeah, I will. If you honestly think that the government cares about you, your son, or your pets, I have very bad news for you. They do not at all, ever. 4 years after it was written, Canyon's law was reintroduced last month by Reps Jared Huffman, a Democrat from California, and Steve Cohen, Democrat from Tennessee. Senator Jeff Merkley, Democrat of Oregon, introduced companion legislation in the Senate. How the hell is that? Well, I guess. After years of setbacks, advocates in the Mansfield's corner believe the tide may finally be turning against M44s thanks to the emergence of an unexpected but critical ally. During a congressional hearing on Canyon's law last summer, the Department of the Interior submitted a statement outlining its M44's position. Quote, the department is concerned that these devices pose a risk of injury or death to unintended targets, including humans, pets, and threatened and endangered species. The department had, quote, no technical objections with the proposed bill and would work to implement the legislation if enacted. Do you think possibly a booby trap with a hair trigger might accidentally...
a booby trap full of poison with a hair trigger?
Yeah,
placed on public land?
What? Yeah, just like sitting out there on public... And it's not like it was set somewhere, like it was a device that was set somewhere where... you know, only coyotes were going to go.
Yeah.
Right? Like it wasn't at the mouth of a coyote den, aimed at the coyote den with like some sort of bait on it or something. This is just a thing set out.
Yes.
Like a fucking claymore of horror.
Yeah, this was
random places.
This was set on top of a hill, 300 feet from a house. Right, the M44 that killed the dog and hurt Canyon. Yeah, this was 340 or 300 feet from a private home. Right, so this isn't out in the middle of nowhere. Yes, so we don't need to read the rest of this. I mean, it's a long article and it goes on and 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 on.
But basically, there's the fight is still going on to try and get them banned, but like. And we've seen it before, though, even when the federal government attempts to ban agencies from doing things,
yes,
they'll just ignore it and keep doing that thing. And then if you go, hey, but the federal government told you in a law that you can't do this anymore, they'll just be like, well, sue us.
Yeah.
And then you'll lose.
Okay, hold on. Despite the national coverage the Mansfield case received, Wildlife Services has clung to M44s as, quote, an effective and environmentally sound wildlife damage management tool. In the wake of Canyon's poisoning, the agency published a brochure justifying the device's use. Quote, our use of M44 devices strictly follows EPA label instructions, directions, and use restrictions, applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations, and agency and program directives and policies. Our personnel do not use M44s on any property unless the landowner or manager requests or agrees to our assistance. We must have a valid written cooperative agreement for agreement for control, memoranda of agreement, and other applicable documents signed by the landowner and authorized representative to place any M44s. Then why was it placed on a hill 300 feet from a private home? Yes.
Yeah, I forget the term that I'm looking for here. I mention it in that episode of Status Quo that I was on. But essentially what they're doing is saying the Fuhrer said it was okay, so therefore it must be okay. That's their justification here.
I guess Jack looked it up. It says sodium cyanide effects on the human skin are similar to that of sarin gas.
Yeah, sodium cyanide is really bad. Actually, if you've ever heard of the Iceman, right, the serial killer, the Iceman, he used exactly this to kill a bunch of his victims.
Oh, lovely. That's just fantastic.
Isn't that fun?
Yes. So, well, this article goes on and on and on and on and on. There's a long article, but it's worth the read. It's really worth the read. So, yeah. All right, we don't need to go into that.
Yeah, but it's essentially the Wildlife Service's justification for it is I wish I could remember what the hell the word is in German, but basically it just means it doesn't matter what the law even says, as long as the Fuhrer says it's okay, it's okay. And that was actually the policy in World War II Germany.
Flimstef defer. Is that the word? Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Okay.
It was that's basically what it was. And it was, and it was that's also why I laugh when people are like, well, everything Hitler did was legal. Actually, no. He didn't bother with laws.
Yeah.
After a bit. And so it was just that deference where it was like, well, but leadership says it's okay, therefore it must be okay. That's
awfully similar to what it is now.
Yeah. Well, they said it's okay.
Especially with Chevron deference.
Yeah, that is basically what Chevron deference is. Well, but Der Fuhrer said it was okay, so therefore it must be okay.
Yeah. So
funny that we're talking about poison gas, and I would bring up look at that.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Can we move on now?
Yeah. It's and the funny thing is even Adolf Hitler refused to use poison gas against soldiers in World War II because he'd experienced it in World War I and thought it was so horrific and wrong to use poison gas that he refused to do it.
We're lining up to the next article. Yeah, you ready?
We're lining up to it.
Yeah, we're lining up to it.
I'll stop stalling.
Up to 60% of Americans could own guns, twice the previous estimate. This is a quick one. A surge in, quote, quiet gun owners, much like the so-called silent majority in political circles, is leading firearms analysts to believe that far more Americans own weapons than the accepted 30% cited in polls. At the highest end, it's possible that up to 60% of Americans own guns, especially with the pandemic-era rise in gun buying among women and minorities, especially in suburban and urban areas.
You got to bump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this bracket.
At the lowest end, it's likely that at least 40% of Americans own guns, according to the groundbreaking study of those who lie to pollsters about firearms.
I cannot imagine why we would all lie to pollsters about whether or not we have guns.
That's right. If you have 6 guns, Andrew, and the federal government takes 4 of them, how many do you have?
37.
37. Yes.
Because I lied about having 6 guns.
Yes. So we don't need to go in this article. I just wanted to read that headline because it's cool.
So, well, the funny thing is they're like similar to the silent majority. How is that? That's literally the silent majority. That's what that is.
Yes. So, Do we want to get into your article now, or do we want to get into the hidden one first?
Oh, let's do the hidden one first and get that one out of the way as quickly
Oh,
as we can, and then we can rage about the other one.
Oh, okay. This is from space.com. Moon mining gains momentum as private companies plan for a lunar economy.
How could that possibly ever go wrong?
I'm just saying, like the Earth is 70% water, and there's this thing in the sky that is able to control the tides, and we're gonna go mine it and fuck with it.
That could not possibly go badly, the person who's read H.G. Wells said. If you haven't read The Time Machine, by the way, you may want to go back and read that and revisit what happens that causes the end of humanity. Because it was this.
The pace is quickening for using Earth's moon as a near-term go-to location to live on. To land on, live, and explore. As NASA's Artemis program moves forward, so too do long-term plans by small and large firms, academia, along with international space agencies. This was the evidence at the 23rd meeting of the Space Resources Roundtable held here last month at Colorado School of Mines. A record attendance of some 250 participants spoke on lunar economic models resulting of in the lab test, legal and policy issues. A number of entrepreneur groups shared the strategy to turn the moon into a hustle and bustle world of marketable services.
Moon hookers?
Yes.
Moon hookers.
Just saying, just 1/6 gravity, it just would change just a lot of things.
Don't forget, as has been pointed out previously, that in 0G, doggy style and reverse cowgirl are in fact the same thing.
Yes. I'm just for every reaction, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So there's recoil when you splooge.
That is true, in fact.
Yes.
In 0G. Yeah,
there's recoil when you splooge. Yes.
Well, the other thing that I'm thinking of is like if you're a fairly weighty dude and it's a fairly small chick, you're just gonna be going thunk 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 across the.
Just seeing it just floating everywhere.
You know, the best part though is if it went into the vacuum of space, right? There's nothing to slow it down. So it is still continuing on forever at its initial velocity unless acted upon by an outside force. So in theory, it could even like slingshot around a star and gain even more speed and then like eventually punch a hole in some alien vessel.
It would also freeze.
It would, which would make it even more likely to punch a hole in an alien vessel.
Become a meteor. Technically.
Oh, what would you name that comment?
Oh, goodness.
But there's so many things wrong with us.
We're just yeah. Okay.
But,
all right.
but in all seriousness though, like that this is such a bad idea. Like mining asteroids is one thing, right? Because especially now that we've landed a probe on it and discovered that asteroids often are in fact like just a loose amalgamation of rock, which means plucking rocks out of that's pretty easy. That's one thing. But when it's a thing whose mass determines the tides on Earth, maybe reducing said mass is an imprudent decision.
Yes. The key glue that anchors future moon use is labeled in situ resource utilization, or ISRU. ISRU involves the extraction of oxygen, water, and other available materials for cranking out rocket fuel and to, quote, gas up life support systems. There's then pulling out metals on the moon, say to fabricate lunar housing, landing pads, along with other structures and products. Yeah, I'm just saying it's probably not a good idea to drill into the fucking moon.
Like, it just objectively, like, I mean, and I hate to just be like, these greedy people just want to steal resources from anything and everything and do not care what the consequences are. But the reality is these greedy people will steal resources from anything and everything and just do not care what the consequences are.
Oh yeah, they don't live in coastal areas anymore.
Yeah, they all moved inland and everything. But like, if you haven't seen or read The Time Machine, what destroys humanity and then makes him, where when he goes into the future, suddenly he's now facing this, like, the two divergent species of human and blah blah blah, is that the moon, from being mined, they accidentally blow up the moon essentially and crack it, and it crashes to Earth and obliterates most of life on planet Earth.
Sweet.
So like that and that was written in what, like 1901 or something. Like, it was late 19th, early 20th century, The Time Machine. So like, I just want to point out that science fiction yet again has already been like, this is a terrible fucking idea, and yet you still have a bunch of idiots going, hey, this seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
There are literally books telling you why this is a dumb fucking idea.
It's just there's nothing, literally nothing having to do with the moon that I've read about, or it's just there's we gotta skip it. We just gotta skip it. Skip the moon.
Yeah, it's
okay. Skip the moon.
Jack.
Oh. Yes, because the moon is made of cheese. Yes.
Yeah. I love. Do you remember the Ritz Cracker commercial?
Yes.
Where it was that we thought for years that the moon was made of cheese. In 1969, we landed on it and found out it was in fact rock. We haven't bothered to go back since.
Yeah. Speaking of cheese, did you read the article about the Italian guy who died by cheese?
Yeah. So and the funny thing is, so that there is a bank for Parmigiano Reggiano in Italy it's like this high security facility, and it's where true Parmesan, real Parmesan, very little of which is actually available in the United States. Fun fact, most of the crap that you probably buy, not actually Parmesan.
Yeah.
But
most of the cinnamon you buy is tree bark.
Yeah. It's not, well, isn't all cinnamon tree bark?
No.
Though?
No.
No. The thing is, though, is like, this is a place where the world's Parmesan gets aged properly. And it gets deposited there and everything else. And a giant wheel fell on him. They are not small. They're quite large. And then the shells all fell on him. And he was crushed by cheese.
Yes.
And as a Wisconsinite, I'm not sure I'd be disappointed with going out that way.
Hey, as a Wisconsinite, don't you feel embarrassed by the Iowa cow? The 500-pound Iowa butter sculpture of a cow.
I feel incredibly offended by it.
Yeah.
And the fact that
you were out butter sculptured by Iowa.
That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Yes. Come on, Wisconsin. We can do better than that.
Yes. Out butter sculptured.
We
All right,
can definitely do better than
let's
that.
get on this last article and then get out of here.
All right, let's talk about the article that I'm going to rage and scream and yell about and have to constantly remind myself. Brandenburg v. Ohio.
Brandon v. Ohio, 1969, ruled that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless its speech is, quote, directed to inciting or producing lawless action as likely to incite or produce such action. We do not Fed post like that boomer in Utah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I say as I am wearing a hey,
I like
rooftop
that band.
voter
I
shirt.
like that. That's a fantastic punk band.
Yeah.
It's
a
it'll really
rooftop voter shirt and the guillotine necklace.
Yeah, it'll really get stuck in your head. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Get stuck in your head from long distance.
Yeah. Music loves you long time.
And my Wolverines hat.
First, the city demolished his home. Now they are trying to foreclose on the property to pay for the $68,000 of demolition cost. The whole time, an Atlanta man said the paperwork had the wrong address on it. Quote, I'm not going to let the city take this from me. I'm going to fight them tooth and nail, said the homeowner, Everett Tripodias. It's an empty lot now, but the city demolished his Southwest Atlanta house. Now Tripodias told Channel 2 Consumer Investigation Justin Gray he has been served with a lawsuit from the city of Atlanta saying they intend to foreclose and take the property. Quote, when I saw that came from the city, I was quite excited. Maybe it was a letter of apology. Maybe it was a check. Maybe they're going to justly compensate me. I opened it and realized that they were suing me.
The fucking balls.
Gray first reported in March how before tearing down his house, the city sent its notices that a city inspector found the house unfit for habitation to the wrong address. Certified letters were, quote, returned to sender. Even the official demolition hearing notice was for Lawton Avenue, zip code 30314, but Tripodi's house is on Lawton Street, which is in the 30310 zip code, about 1.4 miles away.
Oh my fucking. Oh. Visions of Saint Hemeyer dancing through my head right now.
Yes. There's Saint Hemeyer and Uncle Ted, and all sorts of just really fantastic things that
the
yes.
For legal reasons, my attorney has advised me to not elaborate on my current thoughts of reaction.
Yes, the demolition hearing, I'm going to read that. The demolition hearing notice was for Lawton Avenue, zip code 30314. But Tripodia's home is on Lawton Street, which is in zip code 30310, 1.4 miles away. So not only is it, so they went to Lawton, so it was for Lawton Avenue. He lives on Lawton Street, which is a different zip code, 1.4 miles away from the house that they were supposed to tear down.
Oh my God.
Yes. A review of the city's demolition process reported that the council in April found that some property owners were unaware their homes were up for demolition. But now, even as these problems were flagged to city leaders, Tripolis got served with a lawsuit. The city is alleging that, quote, the property should be sold at public outcry unless one or more of the interested parties tenders the full redemption amount. The amount with interest is now more than $68,000 in demolition cost.
So they tore down his house that they were not supposed to tear down.
They tore down the wrong house, 1.5 miles away from the intended house,
and then sued him for the cost of tearing his house down.
Yes, $68,000. They want to charge him $68,000 for tearing down the wrong house.
I love
Yes.
that he's so chill about it. Well, after you air the story, after everyone sees it, instead of them fixing the problem, they double down and do it again. It's like after the slap comes the spit in my face. I'm just frustrated.
Yes.
Frustrated? Frustrated?
Yes.
That's all you are? Do you know what I would be?
Oh, here's the rest. Trepidus has already filed a lawsuit against the city for the demolition that's stuck in the Fulton court system. He only has a matter of weeks to respond to the foreclosure suit. So the federal so his lawsuit being stuck in the system will take longer to process than the foreclosure suit that the city has already filed. So he's going to lose the foreclosure suit before his lawsuit against the city will get heard.
Oh my. Whoa. Well, I mean, like, first of all, I hope that his attorney is planning on attending that particular foreclosure hearing and going, no.
Yeah. I hope his lawyer shows up in full battle rattle.
The so many things I am not legally allowed to actually voice about this. Like, you tear down my house and then send me the bill.
Yes. Yeah, Jack says, let's chalk it up as an oof and call it good, okay? Oh, here's the bill.
Yeah, also, here's the bill.
Yeah. Also, here's the bill.
Our. Yeah. So many things that I would find incredibly reasonable to do as a response to this.
Incredibly reasonable, huh?
Incredibly reasonable.
Yes.
I would not find those things to be things that an unreasonable man would do at all.
No,
Only a reasonable man would do them because it's incredibly reasonable that you would do those things that I'm not saying you should do.
Yes. So what you're saying is...
Oh, Chris in the chat. Oh, it seems par for the course for the American South. It especially seems par for the course for Atlanta and the state of Georgia.
Yes.
That hellhole. That is not even the colon of planet Earth, because that would be an insult to the colon of planet Earth. That is what comes out of the colon of planet Earth, okay? That entire state is such horrific garbage. Good God, is it shit.
Yes.
I just, the audacity. Where do these people get there? And the thing is, here's the thing too about this is you know that what's going to happen is that he is going to fight this. And this is, this article has come out now about it, and it's going to get national attention and everything else. And what's going to happen is everything's still going to proceed forward because the people in charge of doing the foreclosure proceedings over this bill have paid no attention to anything else and go, well, that's not my job.
Yes. Yes. $68,368.01. Or just, for the exact number of people.
Man, that amount of money buys a lot of ammunition.
Yeah, even in Atlanta.
Probably even more in Atlanta because you can buy it off the street from the gangs.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like, you tore down his house by mistake, and now you, on top of you tearing down his house by mistake, you now want to also charge him nearly $70,000 $68,000
Yeah, 68,000. Yeah, $68,300 and something dollars and 1 cent.
for tearing down his house
Yes,
by mistake.
yes, for mistakenly tearing down his house.
While there's a federal lawsuit.
Yes. Yes. No.
Good God. That just, good God. I cannot even begin. Like, because it's government, right? Which means that, like, the people in charge of tearing down the house, it's not their job to verify the address, right? That's going to be their argument.
Yes.
And the people who did the lawsuit that initially said that they got to tear it down, it's not their job to verify that the people who are going to go tear it down are tearing down the right one. And then the people who are billing him for tearing down that house, it's not their job to verify whether or not the teardown was legal and was justified. And so this is just one not my job after another, which is very par for the course for the federal government and state governments and Atlanta government. And because it's nobody's job to verify. Oh, well, they should have verified. Well, they should have verified. Well, they should have verified. It's nobody's fault, right? Nobody's, it's not my job, not my job, not my job, not my job. This man lost his home and is now being sued for almost $70,000 for them tearing his house down. What the fuck, man? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. It's ridiculous. It's even dumber than the whole mining the moon. Oh.
Check.
Sing it. Sing it.
Oh, I ain't singing. I don't sing, but the proud to be an American, for at least I know I'm victimized by my government along with my neighbors thousands of times a day in countless ways. Yeah. Oh boy, hooray for America, right? Oh, yay. But don't worry though. You could be living in Somalia apparently, which is just, so much different, because in Somalia you might have your property stolen and your house demolished and oh wait.
Oh wait, whoops, my bad.
Oh, that's the United States. That's the United States, and that's the
77 Caterpillar D8K, 53,500, Charleston, South Carolina.
Hey, look at that! It's cheaper than the bill that they sent. I mean, I'm not saying there's a reason that you would want one of those, but I am going to say that I find it reasonable.
It was a
But, like, this
really nice Komatsu, but it's $225.
Oh, pricey. Although worth it. But
it's a really nice Komatsu.
This is the stuff, right? This is the stuff that that the American military and the American police force and all of the various federal agencies and things, this is what they prop up right here. This is what they protect. This is what they prop up. Is civil asset forfeiture, stealing things from American citizens who haven't even ever been charged by a crime, your home being destroyed, and then you being sent a bill for them destroying your home, even though it wasn't the house that they were supposed to destroy.
Yeah.
Your child and your dog being gassed with poison gas. For what? And then them going, well, yeah, okay, occasionally that also kills endangered species too on top of that. But, it's for the greater good, right? For having to spend more than $700 extra every month and then getting told, no, that's a good thing. This stuff is what people who work for the federal government in any capacity, this is what they're propping up. This is what they're supporting. This is what they're helping.
94 Caterpillar D8N in Hazelhurst, Georgia for $62,500. That's a good looking one. Yeah. Oh, just saying. Oh, that's a massive 82 Caterpillar D8L for 60, and that's in Atlanta. There you go.
Well, there you go. See, it's even conveniently placed.
That's a big boy.
So you could have easily afford to get that and your welding equipment and a bunch of steel plates.
A bunch of steel. Yeah.
Look at that. I'm not saying you should do any of those particular things, but
72 Caterpillar D9G, Winder, Georgia for 55. That's a big machine. Oh, and it has a new transmission and torque converter. Nice. So there you go.
Yeah. Not saying that there's anything you should specifically do with those, but that's a thing. But yeah, like this is one of those, this is one of those points where again I circle back to your friend who's in the military who's a really nice guy, your friend who's in the police force who's a really nice guy, your friend who works for the FBI who's a really nice guy. None of them are your friends. They will always choose your masters over you.
Yep. And yet Brandon Herrera is still running. He's gonna hook up and be friends with Dan Crenshaw, and now we're never gonna get an AK-50.
Damn it.
Yep.
But yeah, these people, and it's it's that whole thing like I mentioned earlier with a lot of these people are not ready to be unplugged, right? And why you got to be gentle and explain to them like these people will actively fight to preserve the system.
Yes.
Especially if they are part of the system. Like the people who depend on the system for their pay, people like police, people in any branch of the military. I don't give a fuck what branch it is or what portion it is. Anybody who works for any federal alphabet agency, anybody who works for government in any capacity is very, very likely, if not guaranteed, to actively fight to preserve a system which oppresses you constantly in every aspect of your life.
Yep.
And they will then demand that you thank them for their service for doing it.
Yep. All right, let's throw some links and get out of here. I need to go ice my knee.
All right. If you want to care for your beard like a Viking, like I do, go to thebeardstruggle.com. Use code InkedAnarchist15. You get 15% off of your entire order. They have all sorts of cool new scents, including their platinum scents. They got Odin's Virtue, which is my personal favorite. Smells kind of like oud wood and apple and cinnamon. Super nice. I really enjoy that stuff. So check it out. Use code InkedAnarchist15. You support me. We are also an affiliate of Reaper Brand Apparel. They're a super awesome company with a super awesome message that I fully support. So make sure that you check that one out as well. And if you use the link in the description, you get a bigger percentage off than if you use the code Inked Anarchist, which only gets you 10% off. We're also an affiliate of Lions Not Sheep. So again, link, description. All the links are in the description for everybody we work with. Make sure that you check out Poppin's Patches. He's a super cool supporter of the show. And he makes some super awesome patches that are very, very high quality. And you definitely want to get your hands on them.
He just dropped a new one.
Yeah, it was a Jurassic Park one, as I recall, that he just dropped.
Yeah. The Jurassic Park, yes. Come on, damn it. Yes, that one. Which I thought is fucking hilarious.
It is very.
Yes.
Was it like Johnson or something? Johnson. It's Johnson here. See, nobody cares.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
But yeah, beyond that, there's buy Derica's book. There's other.
Go tell her happy birthday.
Yeah, tell her happy birthday. We are also an affiliate of RK Spookware. If you know who they are, you know what they do. If
Rumble.
you need their stuff,
Find us on Rumble.
yes. Anything else? I think that's everything. Yeah, check out our link tree. All of our stuff's in the link tree, and you should totally check it out.
Maui fires are now over 100 confirmed dead, which makes them the deadliest wildfire in the United States history, surpassing the Camp Fire in Paradise, California in 2018.
Holy cow.
Yep.
That's bad. I mean, I saw what the beachfront looked like after the fire rolled in, and holy shit.
There's articles. There's a lot of there's so much traffic trying to get out of there that people had to abandon their cars and jump into the ocean to avoid the flames.
I mean, it was kind of a Pompeii kind of thing.
It was very Pompeii-ish. Like, go watch the latest Jurassic Park. It's basically that.
Jesus.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yes, Coffee Brand Coffee, Chris. Yes, we got that.
Yep. Check out the links. They're all in the link tree, and you should go look at those.
Yep. And as Jack says, it is economically irresponsible to not build a killdozer. So.
Yes. Yeah. Not saying who should, but I'm going to say that it does tend to convince the local zoning commissions.
Yes. Jack says, start planting next year's garden now. Think about preparing your garlic for the fall. Yes.
Garden, become independent so you don't have to care about what the government has to say ever.
Yes. Got anything else you want to touch on real quick?
Oh, not really. I don't know. I think we covered everything with the killdozer references.
So, on that note, I guess we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah. We'll see you guys later. Peace.